Welcome to Lost Tech Lab 7, where we uncover forgotten inventions, ancient machines, and lost technologies that were centuries ahead of their time. From steam engines of the ancients to mysterious robots of history, every video unlocks a secret the world almost forgot. Subscribe, like, and join us as we bring the past back to life.
Could a simple arrangement of mirrors turn the sun into a weapon capable of sinking warships? Mythbusters tried it. Countless engineers have crunched the numbers, but the verdict remains hotly contested. That's the core question behind one of history's most enduring and captivating mysteries, the Archimedes Death Ray. For centuries, scientists and historians have debated whether this terrifying device was ancient ingenuity or just a great story. The legend of a burning fleet. Imagine a fleet of mighty warships, their sails billowing, their hulls laden with soldiers advancing on a besieged city. Suddenly, a blinding flash erupts from the city walls. Moments later, the lead ship bursts into flames, its timbers crackling, its crew scrambling in panic. This wasn't some futuristic laser cannon. This was, according to legend, the work of one man over 2 millennia ago, using nothing but the sun and a few polished shields. We're talking about the infamous Archimedes Death Ray. Was this a stroke of ancient genius, a lost superweapon, or just a fantastic tale spun through the ages? Prepare to have your mind both boggled and enlightened. Welcome to Lost Tech Lab, where we dive deep into the annals of history and the frontiers of science to uncover the truth behind the world's most captivating mysteries. We explore lost technologies, debunk persistent myths, and celebrate the incredible ingenuity of human intelligence. The historical backdrop. Our story begins in the 3rd century BCE in the vibrant Greek city-state of Syracuse, located on the island of Sicily. This was the home of Archimedes, a name synonymous with brilliance. He was a mathematician, physicist, engineer, inventor, and astronomer. Archimedes was a true polymath, whose contributions ranged from calculating pi to inventing the Archimedes screw for water irrigation. His mind was a powerhouse of innovation, constantly pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. In 212 BCE, Syracuse faced an existential threat, the mighty Roman Republic. Led by the formidable General Marcellus, the Roman legions laid siege to the city, determined to conquer it. The odds were stacked against Syracuse. The Romans possessed superior military might and an unwavering resolve. Yet, the city held out for an astonishing 2 years, largely thanks to the defensive innovations of one man. Archimedes, despite his advanced age, dedicated his genius to protecting his homeland. He devised an array of ingenious war machines that baffled and frustrated the Roman attackers at every turn. Among these legendary defenses, one stands out above all others: the so-called Death Ray. The tale claims that Archimedes used an array of highly polished bronze shields, acting as mirrors to focus the sun's rays onto the Roman ships. Could mirrors really ignite a ship? The concentrated heat, it is said, was so intense that it ignited the wooden hulls of the vessels, setting them ablaze from a distance. Imagine the terror and confusion among the Roman sailors as their ships spontaneously combusted. The earliest accounts of this solar weapon come from later historians, notably Plutarch in the 1st century CE, centuries after the siege itself. He describes Archimedes using burning glasses to set ships on fire. Other sources like Galen in the 2nd century CE also mention the use of mirrors. The Byzantine mathematician Anthemius of Tralles in the 6th century even studied the optics required for such a device. It's important to note the significant time gap between the event and these written accounts. This distance often allows for embellishment and the transformation of fact into legend. The underlying scientific principle behind the death ray is sound. We know that light can be focused to generate intense heat. Parabolic mirrors, for instance, are incredibly effective at concentrating solar energy. Think of a magnifying glass focusing sunlight to burn a leaf, or a modern solar furnace that can melt steel. The concept of harnessing the sun's power for destructive purposes is not inherently fantastical. If Archimedes could create large, highly reflective surfaces and arrange them precisely, he theoretically could have generated a significant amount of heat. The question isn't if light can be focused, but how effectively it could be focused under ancient conditions. The challenge lies in the scale and precision required. To ignite a ship from a distance, you'd need an enormous amount of focused energy, sustained over time, and directed at a moving target. Historical tests and modern experiments. Over the centuries, many have attempted to recreate Archimedes' legendary weapon. Perhaps the most famous modern attempt was by the popular science show, Mythbusters. They conducted multiple experiments trying to replicate the conditions. 18th century French scientist Georges-Louis Leclerc attempted to replicate the feat, claiming some success at short distances. 1970s, Greek scientist Ioannis Sakkas used 70 bronze mirrors and reportedly set a mock Roman boat ablaze at about 160 feet in perfect sunny conditions. Mythbusters. The popular TV show tried multiple experiments in 2004 and again in 2010. They found it extremely difficult to ignite a moving target, ultimately labeling the Death Ray busted, though they conceded it might work on a stationary target. MIT students. In 2005, an MIT team managed to start a small flame on a wooden ship replica, but only after long exposure and perfect weather. These experiments suggest it's possible, but only under ideal conditions, far from the chaos of battle. In their initial tests, using hundreds of individual mirrors held by students, they struggled to ignite a wooden boat replica. The boat merely smoldered, never truly catching fire. It was a lot of effort for very little bang. Later, with more refined, larger mirrors and ideal conditions, they did manage to get a small flame and smoke. However, this required perfect sunlight, a stationary target, and a significant amount of time. The practicalities of deploying such a weapon in ancient warfare present enormous hurdles. First, weather conditions would be critical. Clouds, haze, or even a slight breeze would severely diminish the effectiveness of the mirrors. Second, Roman ships were not stationary targets. They were constantly moving, even if slowly, making it incredibly difficult to maintain a precise focal point on a specific spot long enough to ignite it. Third, the sheer number of mirrors and the coordination required to aim them simultaneously would have been a logistical nightmare. Imagine hundreds of soldiers trying to perfectly align their shields. It's like trying to herd cats, but with deadly sunshine. Furthermore, the range would have been limited. The further away the target, the larger the mirrors and the more precise the alignment needed, making it exponentially harder to achieve ignition. Finally, the Romans were not fools. They would have quickly adapted, perhaps by dousing their ships with water, covering them with wet hides, or simply attacking at night or on cloudy days. So, if not a death ray, what did Archimedes do? He was renowned for his other defensive inventions. He designed massive catapults that hurled huge stones at Roman ships, sinking them or smashing their decks. He also created giant grappling hooks, famously dubbed Archimedes' Claw. These devices would swing out from the city walls, grab Roman ships, lift them partly out of the water, and then violently drop them, capsizing or breaking them apart. These mechanical weapons are well documented and far more plausible given the technology of the time. They were terrifyingly effective and would have certainly instilled fear in the Roman ranks. It's entirely possible that the legend of the Death Ray evolved from a misunderstanding or an exaggeration of these other fiery defenses. Perhaps Archimedes used incendiary projectiles like flaming arrows or pots of Greek fire, which were then conflated with solar mirrors. The image of ships burning could have been real, but the method of ignition might have been far more conventional, albeit still devastating. The human mind loves a good story, and a sun-powered superweapon is certainly a captivating one. Myth, science, or both? So, where does this leave us? Was the Archimedes Death Ray a myth or ancient science? The consensus among historians and scientists leans heavily towards it being a myth, at least in the dramatic, ship-incinerating form often depicted. While the scientific principle of focusing light is real, the practical application of it to burn ships from a distance during ancient warfare seems highly improbable. The logistical, environmental, and tactical challenges were simply too great. However, the legend itself is a testament to Archimedes' unparalleled genius. The fact that people believed he could have invented such a device speaks volumes about his reputation as an inventor and a master of mechanics. Legacy of the Death Ray. His true legacy lies in his groundbreaking mathematical discoveries, his fundamental principles of physics, and his undeniably effective mechanical war machines that truly did defend Syracuse. The Death Ray, while captivating, likely overshadows his more tangible yet equally brilliant contributions. Archimedes remains one of the greatest minds in human history. His work laid foundations for calculus, hydrostatics, and mechanics that are still studied today. He was a man who truly changed the world, even without a solar superweapon. The story of the Death Ray serves as a fascinating reminder of how legends are born, how science can inspire awe, and how the line between historical fact and captivating fiction can blur over time. It's a tale that continues to spark curiosity and inspire scientific inquiry, even today. If you found this journey into ancient ingenuity and scientific debunking as intriguing as we did, please hit that like button. Subscribe to Lost Tech Lab for more outstanding videos that uncover lost technologies, unravel historical mysteries, and explore the incredible inventions that shaped our world. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow history buffs and science enthusiasts. What other ancient technologies or myths would you like us to explore? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep learning.